The Sacramento Kings will host the OKC Thunder for the first time this season. This is going to be a hard fought victory, whoever gets it. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think that this matchup is one of my anticipated matchups prior to the season. However, the Kings are not where I thought they would be right now in the standings. And I think that OKC is exactly where I thought they would be in the standings. But I do believe that now, hopefully, the Kings will have DeMar DeRozan back. Sabonis will be back. I know Malik Monk may still be out. But I think what the Kings are up against right now is that some of their core players have not been playing consistently this season so far. So if this game can be a full game of core players except for Malik Monk on the Kings and for OKC except Chet Holmgren, and hopefully Alex Caruso will be back, this game will start off the week fire. So I'm excited about it. Yeah.
I am most excited about this matchup because we get to see iHeart, right? Hartenstein is back, or some of his first games with the OKC Thunder will be this week, right? Yeah. And I'm just like, what does that look like? Now, yeah, you mentioned Chet Holmgren is out, but having Isaiah Hartenstein, not bad. He is a board man. He is going to get the boards. And I want to see how Sabonis, another guy who can, hey, he can get those rebounds, how they're going to battle and who's going to win that battle. Because we already know what's going to happen at point guard, right? SGA and De'Aaron Fox, that is must-see TV.
Wait, not only SGA and De'Aaron Fox, but then you got the number twos, in a sense, Jalen Williams and DeMar DeRozan. Yeah. What we're talking about, right? And then on defense, Alex Caruso and Lou Dort. This particular matchup can be a matchup of skill level. You're going to see some skill in this game more so because the players are almost, maybe not from a stat level, but from a effort level, maybe equally matched, right? Yes. And so if you think about it from a perspective of OKC, they coming into this game because they want to maintain their spot. I mean, at any given point, they could be number one. Because if you look at the standings right now, they have, as we speak, they have the same score as the Warriors at number one. So what I'm thinking is that for the next few weeks or so, the Warriors and OKC are going to be battling between 1 and 2 for, each time they play the game, right? And then the Kings, of course, this is important to them because they need to move up in the standings if they want to have a solid spot in the playoffs at the end of the season. So, and now that the team is back whole, aside from Malik Monk, I just think that this game is going to be heavily. I think it's going to be a drag out game. I can potentially see this game going into overtime just off a rip because of who's playing against each other and the place that they want to be in the standings. I just think it's going to be an amazing game. And also battle of the coaches, right? Mark Dagnall and Coach Brown. What we going to do? What y'all going to work it out? How y'all going to make it happen? So I just can't wait to see it. I think that it's important to know that De'Aaron Fox is probably still playing compromised, but he's playing anyway. And he's still putting up these points, right? So important to know. So, and Hartenstein in his game he played against the Blazers. That was his first game back with the Blazers. That man put up 14 points. Yeah. So now that Chet Holmgren is not there, no problem. This is why you bring in people you bring in. You never know what's going to happen on your roster. Nobody knew that Chet was going to break his hip and be out for an extended period of time. But to know that you have someone like iHeart on your roster that can come in and just kind of absorb some of that. OKC, I don't know if the league is ready for what OKC has to offer with Isaiah Hartenstein, considering we may get the Isaiah Hartenstein of the New York Knicks. Because if he's on board,
yeah, if OKC is able to get that version, here's the deal, though. I think both teams will have to pick their poison because they have top 3, like, really good scorers. So we all know, De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, and Sabonis. They're going to get theirs. But then you look across the court, SGA, Jalen Williams, and then you can throw in whoever you want as the third person, right? Because OKC, I think they're much deeper than the Sacramento Kings. because Isaiah Joe, and like you mentioned, if these people play, right? Alex
Right.
Caruso.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
golly, it's just, and then sometimes Lou Dort gets really hot from three. What you gonna do with that? Pick your poison. Is Huter gonna be able to match that? I don't know. He's hot and cold.
Yeah. Lou Dort has been hot and cold lately as well. However, you can always bank on Lou Dort on defense. So I
Always.
think if we're talking about a defensive battle between OKC and Kings, I think OKC has a leg up. Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, gonna give it to you. You have the Kings are missing Davion Mitchell, and I'm gonna keep saying it because he was their defensive force off the bench. He's no longer there. So they have defenses, but I think that right now, just from my eye test, the Oklahoma City Thunder have a better defensive presence in going into the game. Now, we don't know what's going to happen during the game, but going into the game, I'm going to bet on OKC having a stronger defensive presence because of Alex Caruso and Lou Dort. And I'm not discounting any of the other players, but them two right there alone, you know, because Lou Dort will stay on you. And Alex Caruso is a hustler because he won Hustler of the Year, but he's a hustler nonetheless on the court. And so, yeah, you have to contend for both of them if they're on the court together when we're talking about defense. So the number of deflections is probably going to be high. The number of blocks I can see. You know, I will say this, and I'm not really the biggest fan of Sabonis being the 5 on the Kings. However, with him being out, they need him. The Kings need Sabonis on the floor, and he has things that the Kings need, and he brings to the Kings at least 18 points, right? He can at least get a rebound and be consistent in that, and he helps with spacing and all that good stuff. And unfortunately, with him being out and the Kings have to play their backup centers, I can see where Sabonis actually has a pivotal role with the Kings. So come on back.
Definitely.
Come on back to 5. My mind has changed. I still think he should be a 4, but now that he hasn't been there, I'm okay with him being at the 5. Yeah.
Yes. Well, he's definitely a double machine. You know,
Absolutely.
in terms of points per game, the Sacramento Kings average about 115, OKC 114. So we're going to see a back and forth. This is going to be a hard fought battle. And I can't wait to see who's going to be put on skates because SGA. He'll put somebody on skates, and then De'Aaron Fox with his stop and go. Right. You don't know what you're gonna see.
Well, let's just say this: each team, somebody's gonna be skating. We're gonna see some skating champions during this matchup for sure. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on both ends, and I think it's gonna go I think it's gonna go back. It's gonna be a back and forth type game, and so whoever has possession of at the time, be prepared. The other team be prepared to be skating around the floor. Likewise, when you own, it's just going to happen. It's going to be back and forth. And who's going to top on rebounds? Will it be Sabonis? Will it be Ihart? Who's going to do it? Right? Will it be Jay Williams, up and coming all-star? As far as I'm concerned, he should be on the list. What are we talking about? Yeah. Now, one thing I am going to be watching for is three-point shooting. It's three-point shooting. Who's going to have the leg up on three-point shooting? I don't know. We'll see.
3-point shooting is starting to become a pain in my side. It's just too much at this point. It's just that. So, hey, I know we're going to see it, but who's going to win that battle as well?
You know what may be one of the things that Oklahoma City may have on edge of the Kings in this particular matchup is that as of late, the Kings have been struggling to close out close games. If OKC Thunder and this Kings game become close, I'm going to have the edge on OKC because they know how to close out games. The Kings, for some reason, has been struggling in that regard. If you watch their games previously, the Kings have been losing by 1 or 2 possessions, and even in overtime. So if they can figure out how to close out games, I will be more solid on the close game for them coming out than I would be the opposing team. And in this case, the Kings, they want to get a lead because if it comes down close, the fact that they are having difficulty closing out games may be a struggle for them in this particular matchup as well.
Oh, I agree. And hence why their record looks the way that it does in the West, right?
Exactly. Right. If they have won some of the games where they were really close, they would be top 6 right now. I mean, that's how close it is. And so they are on the cusp of breaking through the barrier of closing out games. But again, De'Aaron Fox, as great as he is, and as many points as he's putting up, and as many people he put on skates, and how he's, so savvy getting to the basket, he can't do it by himself. So DeMar DeRozan, come on in. Sabonis, welcome back. Miss Malik Monk is still the missing piece. And if If Keegan Murray can't find his shot in this game, it's gonna be another problem. Keegan Murray, I don't know. I don't know. His up and down worries me in the long term, right? And they banked on him. He should be a spot up shooter, draw plays. So that's all he does is stay where he needs to stay to shoot the ball. But even that is kind of iffy at times. And if he can get solid and consistent on that, I think the Kings will also have a better record as well.
Okay. Now, will the Kings be lighting the beam after this game? This is a home game in Sacramento. Yeah.
No.
I kind of, okay.
It's a no for me. I think OKC is going to prevail in this matchup.
Yeah, I have OKC too. They're a deeper team. I just think that 1 through 8, they're just a more cohesive group and their record reflects it. And I just think this would just be another bump in the road and they'll just fly right over it and move into their next 5 games. In fact, let's take a look at OKC's schedule coming up. I see them at Golden State. I see them at the Lakers, on the road against the Houston Rockets. And then they're at home against Utah. Then they go up to Canada to play the Toronto Raptors. How do you think they'll do?
I think this particular run in the next 5 games is going to be 4-1. I see them losing against Golden State Warriors. I see them beating the Lakers, the Rockets, the Jazz, and the Raptors. That's what I foresee. What about you?
I have them going 3-2.
Okay.
But I made this prediction before I knew that Fred VanVleet might be out for a couple of games based upon his actions
recently,
in that recent game. Yeah. So, but I'm still going to hold on. I'm still going to hold on and say 3-2. I think they'll lose against the Golden State Warriors on ESPN. Warriors are playing really good right now. And we don't know if that game will determine who's going to be number 1 at the end of that, who's going to be number 2. So, I think they'll lose that game. I'll have them beating the Los Angeles Lakers because they have so many times. And that's a cup game. So I'm really looking forward to that. I have them losing against the Houston Rockets. Losing against the Houston Rockets with or without Fred VanVleet. Hopefully he plays because that point guard matchup would be really good.
Yeah.
But I think they'll beat the Jazz and the Raptors. I know Scotty Barnes is back, but Raptors, come on now. They're not even on the same level with OKC.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, so let's look at the Kings' next 5 games. I see them playing the Wolves, the Trailblazers, Spurs, the Houston Rockets, and the Memphis Grizzlies. What's up? I think this is a cakewalk.
Would you think 5-0?
No, I think 3-2. It's still a cakewalk. Not a lot of competition here, right?
Who they losing against in year 2?
They losing to the Rockets and the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay. I have them going 3-2 as well, but I have them losing against the Wolves and the Rockets. They're going to beat the Blazers, they'll beat the Spurs, and they'll beat the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, they could definitely use these wins in the win column, especially in the West. And they're playing, for the most part, all Western Conference teams. Actually, all 5 of these next games will be Western Conference teams, so they definitely need to get these W's.
Yeah, you know what? In the previous game against the Wolves this season went into overtime and they lost. So I don't know. I think the Wolves have their number, but we'll see. So 3-2 for me. Next 5 for the Kings. Let's see what it does.